Tuvalu is one of the world's smallest nations, just a speck on the map in the middle of the South Pacific. I went there and I wondered, how do you feel when you're about to lose the land beneath your feet?
Those who don't know where is Tuvalu, how big is Tuvalu, what type of people are the Tuvaluans, I'm sure they don't care about us. But those people in countries who have had some connections with Tuvalu, I'm sure they worry and they do care about us and our future.
This is a story of 10,000 people who live only 3 meters above sea level. At first, they didn't think that the sea was anything to worry about.
Before August last year, I sort of never believed, that we can actually sink. But on that day, just one wave just came through right in broad daylight like this. This car had to go through about 3 feet of water. And it was quite terrifying, And when I saw that wave, coming on the land, and it was low tide, it sort of clicked to me that I think, we're going to sink one day. Just when, we don't know yet.
The survival of this tiny island is now being played out on a world stage.
We are the most vulnerable of the most vulnerable countries. I need not remind the conference that the whole issue of climate change to us is not economics and politics, but is of life and death.
This is our way of life. It's not an organized game. They just enjoy the afternoon.
You're listening to the BBC World Service.
US lawmakers, Republican and Democrat, are increasingly critical of the...
I listen to the radio most of the time. I'm very interested in listening to what is happening in the other side of the world. It's so different from from this part of the world. I always say to my husband, we thank God we are so peaceful out here. The BBC World News, there are a lot of problems causing on the other side of the world. Sad, eh? We are ready to go.
Could you imagine living anywhere else, Lisa?
It's very hard because we are used to our own way of life here. But I would try if it is a must that I have to be moved from here, then I will just have to try it. It's very sad that the land is not very big and now it's being washed away bit by the sea. I don't believe it's natural erosion. See, these ones are all going to go down. I'm sure in 5 years' time, they will all be down and the beach will move up and move in. When I was a kid, I never heard of there are places in the sea where you just go and collect the fish, that the fish were just sort of swimming about because of the heat. No, when I was a girl, no. But a few years ago, this always happens. Maybe 2 days when it's really hot. The children and even the adults used to come and collect fish. That particular part of the sea, the fish are just swimming around, going to die because of so much heat. But before, we don't usually have that.
But no more trees.
No more tree.
What happened?
There was a cyclone that hit the island and everything got washed away by the storm.
If the tide is
Keeps coming up.
keeps coming up the way that they are predicting, it will not take that many years before there are no soil, only the
Yeah.
sand on top of the coral, and it's getting the water on top of the coral will be get so salty, so then the trees they will not be washed away,
They
but
don't
they will
have
start
enough mineral
to die.
grow
Eh?
and, they
Because
get
they're too
washed
salty.
away. Yeah.
That will be the first sign that that it's really getting too high.
Terry is a Norwegian writer. He's doing just about everything he can to tell the world about the dangers of global warming. He met and married Emma, a Tuvaluan, 16 years ago.
Så må vi få litt mat, da, vet du.
Ja, det må vi ha.
Hva gir mat?
Dette er innfødt. Jeg vil advare dere hvis det er noe fetende her, så ikke vis det frem, så ikke Rode ser det.
Det er sånne brød sånn som er sånn rundt sånn, og så masse sånne kuler på. Det er sånn du lager hjemme? Ja. Har du lyst på pizza? Du har på McDonald's, du da, kanskje din skur. Hæ? Oi, oi, McDonald's. Oi, 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 oi.
A lot of erosion occur around there.
50 centimeters is not much to people in other countries, but for people living in Tuvalu, 50 centimeters is quite a lot at high tide.
Yeah.
And you cannot climb up in the mountain.
There's no other highland to
No mountain here.
Hvad så det her? Der er med at dragpule, ikke?
Okay, papatai. Lotta. It's the best drink if you're hot and tired and thirsty. That's the one you need. That is #1 drink.
Better than Coke,
Better than Coke and other stuff. It's been washed away on this side too, no?
Yeah.
I was very surprised to see all the trees just
Erosions.
Yeah, erosion just washed away, huh? Yes. We're gonna cross through here. Oi! Bottles, plastics, old shoes. Yes. Are you afraid sometimes? What
Yeah.
Yeah?
Probably I've been thinking of migrating.
You're thinking about migrating? So where you want to go? To New Zealand?
Probably New Zealand.
Yeah. You've got some family down there already?
Yeah.
So how long then do you think before you're leaving
Probably
Tuvalu?
another 2 years.
Another 2 years? And you think that's about it?
Yeah.
It's a pity, no? You think finally the sea will take away everything, or?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, I'm just doing the replanting of my Pulaka pit here. It's being damaged by the sea, so we'll have to replant it. Pulaka is very, very susceptible to seawater. Once you touch it, and they all turn red like this. And when they turn red, the root is rotten and it's gone.
Why have people stopped growing it?
Consider that if they have the money, they can buy the rice from the shop, or simply they are lazy to do the hard work. They want the easier work.
Why is Pulaka important?
Well, it's the only root crops that you are known as, a real Tuvaluan. People used to plant it as status, prestige, and for their families. And it has been from generation after generations. What a pity that if you allow the grass to grow over, you have nothing there. So it's better to work on it and keep going.
Do you think your grandson will still be planting Pulaka in 40 years?
That I doubt.
Other people, they don't worry because they said, why are you worrying about that? God has said in the Bible, the rainbow is the sign of my love, and I won't send any more flood that will kill the whole world. But if you think about God just to be kind and be generous to the people of Tuvalu so that we don't die and disappear, what about the other parts of the world? That we heard from the BBC World News that thousands of people perish in one go. So why do we have to believe and say God will just look after the people of Tuvalu? We don't want to disappear. No, I think we have to do something.
Whatever they did, it would be a David and Goliath struggle. I noticed that some senior politicians on the island were talking tough.
We are on the front line of climate change, through no fault of our own. And it is only fair that people or industrialized nations and industries take responsibility for the actions that they are causing. It's like the polluter pays principle. You pollute, you pay. This is a very drastic action, and it shows the seriousness in which we take this threat to our future well-being.
What do you know about the United Nations proposed climate treaty?
Isn't that about global warming?
It would force the U.S. to cut energy use by over 20%. Gasoline prices could go up by 50
I didn't
cents a
envy
gallon.
Tuvalu when I saw they were up against large and well-funded opponents.
And higher energy costs will raise the price of almost everything we buy. Countries like China, India, and Mexico are exempt.
We pay the price, and they're exempt.
It's not global, and it won't work.
There has to be monetary compensation for the sufferings that we're going through, for the likely loss of culture, for the likely loss of our land, for the likely loss of our exclusive economic zone, airspace. There's a whole lot of legal complexities involved. And there has to be compensation for that. We will be seeking compensation for that.
In 1999, Tuvalu was the world's third poorest country. Then at the height of the dot-com boom, they struck gold, selling their internet country address, .tv, to a group of American businessmen for $40 million.
The people, when they heard about the .tv, it was something that, bringing a lot of money. They felt so proud and happy and excited about it. But when we say it's for the .tv, they sort of looked at us and they said, what is the .tv? So we tried to explain to them that it is something up there. It's a name for Tuvalu. Make it short so that it can go through the computers or internet, like .com. We try to explain to them that it is just a name, but it's up there. And some people believe, they said, oh, maybe it's a blessing from heaven. They just said, oh, if it comes from up there, then maybe it's from God.
The .tv deal seemed to be the answer to every Tuvaluan's prayers. Whether they develop or whether they drown, they now had a chance to act. One of the first choices was expensive, $1.5 million a year for a seat at the UN.
I don't even get a parking space here.
Their only senior diplomat, who was also the Prime Minister's brother, was dispatched to New York to tell the world what was on their minds. Less than a year later, the Kyoto Protocol, which was Tuvalu's greatest hope for cutting global warming, was shot down by America, the world's biggest polluter.
I will not commit our nation to an unsound international treaty that will throw millions of our citizens out of work.
Tied up in meetings, subcommittees and conferences, it seemed to be harder to get through to the world than they ever expected.
How was today?
Oh, hectic and very difficult. Very, very difficult, because it's sort of coming to the end of negotiations, and people are very careful now about the language, about decisions. Well, we're trying our best. We are hopeful in achieving something out of this this conference. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to write a report between now. Of course, you are visiting Vienna next week, and on your way back, on your return, we can then compile our report to send to Tuvalu.
And we have to be participating. We have to, to follow on with meetings because they are in series of meetings. And once you missed out on a certain series of meeting or a meeting, then you sort of lost. You have lost what has been talked about.
Whatever meetings, negotiations, is and then what and do what? The important thing is implementation.
I think we've played our part well, raised our concerns, talked them in the face, tried to identify common understanding, and even if that understanding is disagreement, agree to disagree on certain things, or disagree to agree on others. I mean, these are the games, the traits of negotiations. And so we come with humility with that understanding, because we know we have benefited from this, and we're going to benefit from it and create, use it as the fountain for opportunities, not as a ground to fight battles. That's the last that I would see Tuvalu ever do. Why did we come this way?
archipelagos of the group, life is little touched by the rush of modern civilization. And what a welcome they gave their royal visitor. Nobody worries about dollars and sterling. When it comes to currency, they make their own, as they're seen doing here, out of shells which are plentiful. Everybody seems to be completely contented.
After decades of British colonial rule, Tuvalu became independent in the late 70s. All they got was a rusty old ship and a few £1,000s to send them on their way. But now, a month away from the 25th anniversary of independence and flush with cash, I noticed that rather than dwelling on any impending disaster, the islanders were getting on with their lives. On the airfield, kids are rehearsing for the Independence Day parade.
Doc TV gave them an ego that things were gonna, they're beginning to see a brighter future, with all that money coming in. So it sort of acted like a catalyst. The biggest project that Tuvalu has ever actually paid for it is the reconstruction of the roads. It's the tar sealing of the roads. Before it was all potholes. I think this project costed the government about $9 million, I think. Since the road was fixed, there was a sudden increase in the number of traffic.
You were responsible for the roads. You're also responsible for the speed bumps.
The speed bumps. Well, they were not supposed to be as high as that. The people here, are not very conscious of, driving, at the proper speed limits and all that. They will just drive, like maniacs. It'll be something, just to whiz away like, what's the guy's name that was a Evil Knievel or what?
When I arrived in Tuvalu, I was puzzled by all the new buildings going up. Surely they should have been building boats. A lot of people heard the story that Tuvalu was disappearing. So did it make sense of building roads?
We are still living, just because it's sinking, we just stop breathing also, We'll just keep on developing, until it's time to evacuate. Do you see the logic there? Or do you want us just to wait until D-Day comes? We have to keep moving, Make our place, a bit more comfortable to live in,
I stayed at the island's only hotel, the Vayakulangi, which in Tuvaluan means Heavenly Lagoon, and met the manager, Joe. He'd been asked to prepare food for the Independence Day celebrations.
Hello. Setu, what are you preparing?
I'm preparing some chicken for sandwich.
Sandwiches, of course, okay. Oh, Minaka. A hard time for us, It's not often happen this, only on occasion, on special occasions like this. State funeral, what else, independence celebrations. Then we can work, cater for long hours like this. We need to create some new dish to put it on the table, to be more colorful. A combination of traditional and European dishes, snacks or whatever.
So far, I'm preparing something different. It's creamy, very tasty, yummy. With a dash of lemon juice, give more flavor to it. It's really, really tasty. I love having this. Yummy. Banana on the way, ready? Let me take the custard. It's a bit sweet, but I'm sure the pastry goes well with it. Yummy. I love eating. Look at the beach now. Before we used to have sandy beach, and I can prove that some of the islets is about to sink. When it's high tide, you can't see any more plants on it. Before, there are plants all up here, and the sea is just there. Now, when it's high tide, vanish. 100% sure sea levels rise. I believe there are more tourists coming to the country because of this sea level rise. They're very curious, they want to know more, and right now they are traveling to the country. So in the very near future, a lot more to come. Oh Yahweh, Bafana Wasula. It's very funny. Oh Yahweh means you are feeling hot, hot, hot. Good afternoon, Maria. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How's your day?
Good.
Busy?
Very busy.
Okay. As we come along, this is the bottom floor. This is my office. This is room 101. This is now our internet room. Any guests would like to access to internet, this is a newly built room. Our guests from overseas are businessmen from Fiji, from Australia, 107, 108. 107 would like to come in and have a look inside what sort of facilities were in the room. Okay. We're having a shower, toilet facilities. All the soaps are provided. Ceiling fans. A mirror is provided. A chair and a small balcony outside. Seawall and a lagoon. Blue lagoon. You can cruise from into the islets. There are also some tours. We experienced last year with 2 tours. A group of old men and women just for overnight in Tuvalu. And there was also a tour before that, a group of school kids from Japan. So that means that we still can accommodate tours in Tuvalu, but we haven't got things to attract the tourists, you know? In Tuvalu, it's beautiful. People would like to come to visit Tuvalu, but we have to develop, to build more, provide more activities in order to attract them. Things like a museum, plenty of hotels, and cruises.
We're going to put some fuel into this. Just up the road here, up to the petrol station.
going to your petrol station, aren't we?
Yeah, that's where we're heading. It's all part of development, you know. Man needs juice, which is just what we're gonna get. Food for traffic, eh? People have started to spend money. I mean, things started to move faster and quicker. You know, communication, you know, I mean, by transport, you know, was a lot better. So people started to invest in the roads, purchasing of, you know, goods, vehicles. I mean, before I wouldn't even buy a motorbike, you know, because I know I'll have to buy another new one, you know, within another year because of the state of the roads. But now you buy a bike, you know, at least you have confidence that the bike will last you a couple of years. And I think there's more room for more development. Maybe the old people, you know, they would have preferred, you know, the old style of life, you know, quiet, no traffic, sleep it off all day. Just go and catch fish when you need some food, you know. I mean, today, you know, you catch fish to sell. It's a business now. And there's a lot of people, you know, who don't even fish because they just go and buy. Before, you know, all the people fish, but they fish, you know, just to feed the family. This is my mom's place, my dad's. This is my dad's grave. It's another grave there, that's my sister's. She died just towards the end of last year. That's what the old people always like, you know, just sleeping it off. That's my mom sleeping. Yeah.
Here we come to my piece of land where all my dreams been looking forward to come true. Paradise. You can do what you want here. Build a small bar and a small restaurant and a big bakery behind so I can supply the whole island. I'm looking for, say, $80,000 or $100,000 to start off the business with. This is the land. If there's any chance to put them a disco, they can put it right in this circle in front. Otherwise, I switch on to see activities. Windsurfing, skiing, what we call this snorkeling. Of course, we are in very attractive coral reefs, so I'm sure the tourists will enjoy their time staying in Tuvalu. These are my relatives' graveyards. So my uncle, even my daddy, has been buried here, and my eldest brother. This is my daddy's. I want to put them all in one, dig them out, all their bodies, and put them together in one place, so we can save the land for more buildings.
In business terms, the Penatusis are one of Tuvalu's most successful families. They make $1,400 selling fish in a good week, more than most islanders make in a year.
Well, I'm worrying because maybe if the time comes, maybe I don't know where we're gonna go. So it's better we work hard, make some saving, good saving. So when the time comes, and then we can just go anywhere we like.
Most of the time, the demand for fish is very high. So I think the fishermen are making good money from the fish.
A year ago, the Pentusi's eldest son was lost at sea while fishing. I was invited to a service to mark the end of their search for him.
Ia o te whakawhitai ki a koutou katoa loa. Mō te whesoa soani la si te rantu kumai na koutou ki a māua. Ai se mea whai ngata ki, e se ma whai roa whakapuri ne. Tari tonu au me ia māua, e se māua loa o puri a māua te māua. So se taimi pia e nofo nofo, e poiwha mo tangi ko se ma whai o whaki.
Since the loss of their eldest son, the family have decided to get out of the fishing business and are pouring all their savings into building a nightclub.
So this area is still not completed. We are still trying to complete this. This is the place where I put people to drink upstairs. Yeah? If this project is very, very successful, then I think we can become maybe I don't know how to say. Maybe the life is a bit changed to a better life. You know what I mean, eh?
Everything is money. Those days too, people you go and ask. You know, the relatives you can go and ask, can I have some of yours, that bit, and just give it free. But nowadays, even your close relative, you go and buy. It's a bit shameful for you to just go and ask now because you know everyone needs money.
If I don't build this one, if the sea rising is coming, maybe I don't have money. I will sink together with the Tuvalu.
I could see people were serious about leaving Tuvalu, and I was wondering where they'd go. Terry told me about an idyllic island near Fiji with space to spare, owned by some Tuvaluans who settled there in 1947. Could this be the answer?
Mavaiake whakatofa I te alatasi te moana
I think the land can give enough food for the whole of Tuvalu. There's a lot of place to be planted here, but very little hands to do the job, to plant. Even the place is all bushy. We cannot fill them with planting. Cassava, you plant it or you throw the cassava stalk on the surface of the soil. Once it grows, you are expecting roots under that cassava. You don't plant it. You heap up it somewhere, still you find food in it. So it's fertile. I think the soil in Kiowa and the land is more than enough to provide for all the people.
We're getting into climbing now.
Slowly.
Yeah.
There are no mountains, no hills in Tuvalu, no forest. Mavayake fakatofa ite alatasi te moana. Mavai means farewell. Fakatofa means to say goodbye, that you are leaving for the land beyond the sky. That's why I'm singing it. Kulangie mavini mai seloto nama payauke totakumo.
It's nice.
But one day I will kiss farewell my mom, my sister, and I will leave the land of my ancestors, and I will be going away to the land beyond the sky. The people of Tuvalu came to Fiji to their new home on the land of Kiowa. To many foreigners who came here, there is only one thing they admire. They said, a land that is so beautiful, and is so fertile and so greenish in many parts of it. And as for me, I was born here. I like this place, and I call it home. Wherever I go in the whole world, my heart, I keep it back in Kiowa. I won't take it with me, because I remember it's my land.
Ke whai tau tala. Toi mawhai o maua te ang noanga e whakatōkane koe. Te mana whakatelangi, tāwa sanga mātou kia koe.
Sunday in Kiowa.
That's right. No noise, except the hymns and the sound of the birds. Can you hear it? If the Tuvaluans come as Kiowas as such, they still survive.
Yeah.
But if we try to develop the island by making roads and structure and housing,
You will destroy the values of the island here, no?
Yeah.
The mentality of the people and
the mentality of the people will change.
Yeah, and you think that will be a bad thing, eh?
It'll be. I don't want outsiders to intrude with their ideas, bathing on beaches with bikinis, swearing, drunkenness, all this. We forbid this in this island. The council is much watchful on it. We don't allow many outsiders to come here in group because most of these youngsters, they bring marijuana, they smoke, they come here, befriended with my people.
But the youngsters, they're coming back from secondary school and they want to live here, but they want to change the values.
Leave your style where you come from. By having earrings and haircut, make your last haircut there. When you come here, you're back to the normal haircut.
Yeah, you're as strict as that?
Yes,
huh?
very strict. You go out there to school, to be educated, to something, be useful to the island of Kiowa. When you get a job, get your pay, remit the fund to the island for the survival of your people.
Back in Tuvalu, a week of independence celebrations was beginning.
Here, here.
Has it happened more than once?
Yeah. The first time
the first time was punched from
outside.
outside. And the second punch, a different one, punched from the inside. I think the Tuvalu people, they want things to be like this. If you create good things, they don't want to look at good things. They just want to do this kind of damage. Maybe $600. Yeah. All the damage.
What are you going to do if you catch anyone?
I will bang his, the hand he used to punch the door or the wall. I will bang that hand with the big hammer, smash with, so the hand won't do anything. This is my policy now. We want also to clean up this. Maybe some people, they pour the drinks from up, and some people, they throw the chairs from up there to the people who are dancing downstairs. If he wants to throw the chair down, it's better for him to jump first, with his head down to the floor.
Do you still worry at all about rising sea level?
Yes. Oh, that is it's always a problem to us if we start to think about sea rising.
It seems like something not to worry about when you've got a club and you're making money.
That's why we want to make some more money, so that if the time comes, and then we can just go anywhere that we want, just to keep our family safe from this sea level.
You see the normal trend of cyclones, according to history, it used to be once, say, in every 50, 60 years. I mean, when I was young, the last cyclone, the real cyclone, was in 1972. But you look at it now, you get 3 cyclones in 1 year, even up to 6, which is, a bit different, from having 1 cyclone per 60 years. Look at that rubbish. They just dump it where they can dump it. Get rid of it. I haven't had the luxury, to check away your car. Have you got a formula that you can help me in sorting this out? This rubbish problem makes me feel disgusted.
Ten years ago, there were only about 4 vehicles here, motorbikes, about 10. Now you could see within that short period, it's going to be a traffic jam very soon. There is no turning back. People are just buying, when anybody sees that one has a car, one thinks he must have a car. That kind of mentality. Now and then we hear from the hospital that all these kind of different sicknesses coming in, diabetes and all this high blood pressure and all this is caused by all these imported foods and all this. And it's better to keep to the local food stuff, but what can you do?
I'm feeling cold. I got a bad cough, dry cough. So I'm not sure. I have to see the doctor for medication.
He needs a big cup.
Are there a lot of diabetics here?
Tons of it.
Why?
Well, eating habit. They tend to get more towards Western diet. Instead of going to the sea, they run to the shelf. They run for the thin stuff.
My blood pressure is okay. My sugar is normal, all normal. No complication.
Lots of mosquito でしょ。40万かかってる。
I came across a party of eco-tourists who'd come to see close up what state Tuvalu was in.
車の値段がメンテナンスを入れて18万で。ゴミを捨てて、でその上に、今度自然のゴミ、落ち葉とか生ゴミとかそういうものを捨てて、カバーを作って、でずっとそれをやってランドができるのよっていうふうに彼女が言ってました。でみんなでじゃあここをゴミ捨て場にしましょう。で今からずっと帰り沿いに I wish they change their mind about the rubbish and the material, industrial material.
Why do you come to church?
Pray hard for my friends. Yeah.
And face your sins.
Well, all people are sinners.
Just before I left the island, I discovered that Joe had been hospitalized with complications caused by diabetes. On a beautiful, sunny South Pacific day, all the islanders gathered at the airstrip for the country's biggest ever celebrations.
We do notice the differences in these happenings in the weather, the rainy season and the hot season.
If we have to believe United Nations Climate Panel, it will take, let's say, 15 to 20 years before it's getting a serious problem. Might be even earlier. And in the end of this century, you won't see the island sea. You will see the reef, but you won't see any islands on the reef.
If Tuvalu is really going to disappear, I don't want the nation as Tuvalu to be spreading all over the parts of the world. I just want Tuvalu to be Tuvalu.
If I go overseas, I would always like to live near the sea, you know? I feel like I'm at home.
Global warming. Who told you that?